welcome to another Winner's Circle conversation as part of the third annual Funky Kids Radio Global Children's Entertainment Awards. And today we're really thrilled to shine the spotlight on the brand new category of Picture Book of the Year. I'm Sarah, Junior Vice President of the School Broadcasting Network, the Australian charity that owns and operates Funky Kids Radio, and I'm in Sydney, Australia today. So, of course, as tradition, we've held the third annual Global Children's Entertainment Awards on Valentine's Day, where we announce all winners, runners-up, and top finalists for all 6 categories. And we are delighted to be able to connect with several of the winners throughout February and March who were not able to join us live at the awards ceremony. We are thrilled today to welcome the author of the Funky Kids Radio's very first Picture Book of the Year award, Juliette MacIver from New Zealand. So hi, welcome. It's so awesome to chat with you today.
Hi, thank you.
And how are we going on this lovely day?
Great. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in Wellington, in New Zealand.
That's great. So first of all, just a huge congratulations to you and the illustrator Sarah Davis for winning this award for Global Picture Book of the Year Awards. So I would just like to say The Grist Does Not Exist is the most awesome book. I absolutely loved reading it. So this was published by Gecko Press in New Zealand. And how did you feel about it when you heard the news that you had won?
I was utterly delighted. Yeah, I think it's very hard to win awards because there are so many fantastic picture books. So yeah, it's just I was completely thrilled. It's really an honor to win an award, especially from an Australian broadcaster. So yeah, on behalf of Sarah, the amazing illustrator, and Gecko Press, I'd like to thank Funky Kids Radio very much.
Well, it definitely deserves it. So, first of all, just asking a question to get right into it. So you majored in linguistics at Victoria University, which for our younger audience who might not know is the study of language. So the Grizzled Grist Does Not Exist certainly makes a wonderful use of kind of energetic, rhyming, and alliterative language, as you can tell by the title. Do you think that expertise in linguistics that you majored in influenced your writing style at all when you're doing children's books?
Yeah, I would say that it did, especially in terms of things like the sounds of words, because I love to write in rhyme and in a really rhythmic kind of verse. Understanding vowel sounds and the rhythm of the language really, on a sort of analytical level, really helps with constructing a verse that works well. In particular, writing in New Zealand, being aware of different accents and different dialects and how our accent here, I might be able to rhyme certain words that don't rhyme at all in an Australian or an American or UK accent. It's really good to kind of have that understanding that you might have to adjust it according to what works kind of in a more sort of global English, as it were. Yeah, so I think all that kind of background knowledge has been really useful for writing in rhyme in particular.
That's fascinating. Yeah, you don't think about the different accents affect the words and the rhyming. Wow, that's really interesting.
We have some strange sort of features of New Zealand English, like we like to rhyme air and ear. And for most New Zealanders, it's the same sound, but it really isn't in Australia, the UK, the States, or Canada.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm from Canada, and air and ear doesn't really rhyme.
No, right?
That's pretty funny. So now the characters in this book also appeared in the much-loved title, That's Not a Hippopotamus. Can you tell us a bit about that book and how this one kind of follows on from it?
Yeah, so I have a copy so I can show it to you. So this one was the original story featuring the wonderful little Liam. Here he is here. Beautifully depicted by Sarah Davis. So this book came about because I really love this word, hippopotamus. In fact, I really love words in general. And I was playing with the sounds of hippopotamus and wondering whether I could find rhyming words to go with hippopotamus. So a lot of my stories start from this kind of playing with language, and then the ideas kind of come after that, and then I craft the story around the ideas that have come from the language play. So this one, it ended up being about a bunch of kids going to the safari park in search of a missing hippopotamus. And as you can see there, they are being very rambunctious and hectic. And their poor teacher, Ms. Whisker Sniff, is trying to keep on top of the chaos, and it gets more and more chaotic as they see the missing hippo. And they keep, no one has any idea what a hippo looks like, so they keep getting hold of the wrong animal. So here is an example of a little girl who grabs hold of a giraffe and says,
"Oh
no, I got a miss. I knew that I could spot a miss." And everyone says, "That's not a hippopotamus." And so the only child who can spot the hippo is the very quiet and observant Liam. And he's constantly spotting the hippo in every page, which means that there's a hippo hidden for the little readers to find. And he keeps telling the teacher with his little Liam line, which is, "Excuse me, miss, I think I see him." And she keeps dismissing him and ignoring him and getting more and more annoyed with his little interruptions until finally they listen to Liam and he shows them where the hippo is. So that's the first book. And then the second one came about because I had written quite a few in between and sent them to Gecko Press, and they weren't really what Julia was looking for. The life of a writer is all about rejection. So it's just constant rejection. Then at one point, Julia said, "Well, how about another Liam story? We really love Liam." And I thought, brilliant. That's a brilliant idea. We'll do another story with the same characters because I really like him too. So I wanted to do, obviously it's the same little boy with the kind of quiet, observant nature and the same theme of being ignored by the teacher in her difficult role of kind of manhandling the crazy, rambunctious crowd. But this time, so the first book, they'd been to a safari park. The second one, they're going into the tree-covered, forested wilderness. And it's kind of a similar idea, but in the inverse. So in the first one, they're looking for something, and Liam can spot it and keeps telling them, and everyone keeps ignoring him. In the second one, they're ignoring the threats. So Liam keeps spotting the threat of something that could be encroaching or coming towards them, and he keeps mentioning it to the teacher, who keeps dismissing it as, just ridiculous. The grizzled grist does not exist. Until finally, of course, you're building it up towards the expectation that they will meet this dire grist, and so they do. And once again, Liam has to save the day. So that was kind of the idea I had, was to do the same character, the same kind of "excuse me, miss," and being dismissed, only in the context of a threat rather than looking for something. But then I had one other thing to layer in, just came about coincidentally when I was kind of mulling over ideas for this book. A friend of mine asked his boy what he would like to be very best at in all the world. If he could have all the training and all the mastery available to reach the greatest heights of anything, what would he want to be good at? And Johnny, his son, said, he was 9 years old at the time, he said, hiding. And I thought, hiding, such a good answer to that question. And then they had this conversation about what it meant to be a good hider and what qualities you needed to be good at hiding. And I thought, that's perfect for Liam. It took me quite a while.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, a child who is an expert at hiding, with a lot of references to the skills needed for hiding, because kids really connect with that. They know what that's about. Yeah. So that's kind of how it ended up being. Coming into existence.
Yeah, well, I absolutely fell in love with his character. I think he's just so sweet and so knowledgeable, and I think you've really done a good job of incorporating that. So one of the things that I also do love about your book is how you convey the chaos of the day in the writing and the formatting of the words. So kind of how the words work together with the pictures. So for example, I love the pages where the children are telling the teacher their talents, like you mentioned, and the words appear over each of their heads. So how did you work together with the illustrator Sarah to convey those concepts in the book?
So the visual layout is really the area of the designer. So Vida Kelly does the design, and most of that discussion is between Sarah and Vida and Gecko Press, and I'm not really party to a lot of that. So they work out all of that kind of layout and how that is best going to convey that sense of chaos or all the aspects of storytelling visually. And then I just get to make comments kind of further along the way, but I'm not really part of that process as the author. Yeah, it's kind of interesting how little collaboration there is traditionally between author and illustrator. But
Yeah.
me and Sarah get to collaborate a bit more than usual because we're really good friends.
Okay. That's fascinating. I'm sure you get it back and you're probably so impressed by what they've come up with.
Yeah, definitely. I think Sarah's just a genius. She's the most incredible illustrator. So it's awesome to work with her.
She is, yeah. So would you be able to read one of your favorite parts of the book? I'd love to hear some, even though I've read it a couple times. Just for our audience, it would be great if you could read a little excerpt.
Sure. I like this bit because this is where the grist comes in, so that's a fun bit. And also I put in a little phrase in Latin. Well, I actually made it up. It means it's the end of the day, as in doomsday. And I wasn't sure if the publisher would let me put Latin in a picture book, but Gecko Press really liked it.
Awesome.
So this is one of my favorite bits. Ooh, can you see it if I go over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of hard to. Okay, is that about right? Okay, so here they go. The sun sinks low in dismal hills. There's no time now for hiding skills. Look out, Miss Whisk, don't cross that gap. The grizzled grist has laid a trap. Trap? You'll drive me round the twist. You know there is no... Ooh, you can see it. Ah! Grizzled grist! And there they are, trapped. And here he comes. With greedy eyes and gleeful whoop, the grist cavorts around the group. He cackles as he stirs his gloop. Tonight it's cream of children's soup. We're doomed, Miss Whisk. It's Finis Diem. And what's worse, he's eaten Liam. And you can see Liam's backpack in here. But the sharp-eyed children can probably spot Liam safe over here, hiding as usual.
I love this book. It's so awesome. So just kind of wrapping up. Now you have a rather quirky bio on your website where you state you speak with creatures of the sea and the air, and they've had some success in dispersing clouds on windy days when dispersing clouds. You can use lighter objects to move their power with your mind or something like that. So we love your sense of humor. How important is that as a writer to include that humor?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things, I think, is making it funny. Yeah, I love humor, both as a writer and as a human. Yeah, I wrote that stuff on my website because I honestly thought no one would ever read it. And then I've gone to all these schools and kids ask me all sorts of strange questions about whether I can really move things with my mind and whether I really have 14 children. And I'm like, oh, I really didn't think anyone would read that. So that's kind of been entertaining.
Of course, yeah. Okay, I'd like to wrap up with one final question. And I know it's one of our audience's kind of most asked questions. They're probably keen for this answer to. Do you have anything new on the horizon? Are you working on anything new? Like a book, maybe?
Yeah, I'm writing junior fiction actually at the moment for kind of 9 to 13-year-olds. So I have one called Feelin' the Wolf coming out, a 3-book series coming out in July. And I'm writing a 7-book series as well at the moment. And then this is my next picture book that comes out in 2 weeks. So this is Duck Goes Meow.
We're getting a little preview here.
Yes. I'm very excited about this one. Can I read you the first couple of pages, or are we
Yeah, of course.
Okay, sweet. So this is Duck Goes Meow, and it's published by Scholastic and in New Zealand, but also in Australia, and illustrated by Carla Martel. And here is little Duck, and it goes like this. Moo, says cow, what joy abounds. Let's all sing our animal sounds. Woof, says dog. Moo, says cow. Cluck, says hen. And Duck goes meow. No, says cow, not like that. Meow is the sound of a pussycat. Try again, says mother hen. Nay, says horse. Moo, says cow. Cheep, says wren. And Duck goes meow. There he is with his little meow. So you have to read the book to find out if Duck ever gets it right, or maybe not.
This is exciting. I absolutely love this one too. I can't wait until it's released. Well, thank you for sharing a little sneak peek into that. So definitely our audience here, keep on the lookout for these new awesome books because I'm very excited to read them as well. So it's unfortunately, time to turn a final page of the chat today. So I'd just like to thank you so much for joining us today, Juliette. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. And I know our young audience who hasn't yet read The Grizzled Grist Does Not Exist will be jumping into their local bookstore at any moment. And I'm sure also they'll be on the keep an eye out for the new books on the horizon. So thank you so much. I really enjoyed reading it myself. And congratulations on winning this award for the inaugural Funky Kids Radio Picture Book of the Year. And a big shout out to Sarah as well and your team. So thank you so much for joining us today.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Well, see you next time. Hopefully, maybe next year you will make an appearance as well. And yes, thank you for joining us. All right. Bye.
Bye.